Resistance Training, bringing you another video. Today's video topic is hypertrophy. All right, so let's start off with carbohydrates such as potatoes, rice, breads, fruits, all carbs, okay? Fruits, of course, are simple carbs, but let's say starches. You got your rice, your pasta, your potatoes, so on and so on. All right. Then you have your simple carbohydrates, your fruits, your berries, simple carbs, fructose. Take creatine, okay? Creatine monohydrate. And then take a program that emphasizes on higher reps, okay, and pump work. You put and frequency, higher frequency, okay? Take those things, put them in the blender, stir them up, and what do you get? You get increases in size, okay? Muscles get larger. The creatine shuttles glycogen and water into the muscles. The carbohydrates facilitate water that gets into the muscles, glycogen and sugar that gets in there, and as you work out, your muscles get larger. But here's something that no one really knows about. Your body fights this process. Your body doesn't want to add hypertrophy. Your body likes homeostasis, where it keeps things running kind of on an even keel. So in order to get hypertrophy, you have to force it. You have to lift extremely higher rep ranges, okay? Really pump those muscles up and get stronger also. And this will shuttle all those sugars, carbohydrates, water into the muscles, and then you will appear, after doing this for some time, you will get larger in size. Your arms will get bigger, your chest, your shoulders. That's all great. But there's other components to lifting than just looking good. And most people like to look good. I get that, okay? But the real essence is you should be striving to get stronger. Granted, the hypertrophy response won't be as great as loading up with creatine, starches, and putting on weight. That's another point I overlooked. Excuse me, gaining weight. You have to be in a surplus, so to speak, in order for the body to grow. Once you do that, it's going to have to be forced. The body doesn't like to put on size. It'll fight you every step of the way. So as you go into your program, you will notice that it gets incredibly more difficult to add the size, okay? And the reason being is that the body just doesn't like to change itself. It just doesn't. And then what most people do, the next step is that they'll reach plateaus for years, and then they go to the dark side and they get on anabolics, and then you know the rest of the story there, you know. But what I wanted to say, and this is in reference to the video I made earlier, is the big three. And I will say this: why would you want to look bigger and not be stronger? See what I'm saying? I find myself that being stronger is just a massive rush to me. I like the idea of being strong. Looking good's okay, don't get me wrong, but being damn ass strong is pretty freaking cool. And I'm going to tell you, the old saying is, no one really gives a shit how much you bench or lift. I'll tell you what, yeah, they do. That's BS, man. Yes, they do. You go into a gym, you can see a guy pressing 3 plates. People look. You're going to turn your head and you're going to look at it, okay? It's impressive. Not many people do that. not average guys in the gym rats, are able to go in a gym and do 3 plates. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot of them out there, of course, but the average human being that works out in a gym is not going to go into a gym and lift 3 plates. It's not very rarely seen. And the people that do are usually assisted, and you know the big picture there. So why wouldn't you want to pursue strength at the same time getting size, which can be done? And there's so much hate right now on these big 3, the squat, deadlift, and bench. I don't know why it's gone down this course, but most everybody in the 60s, the 70s, most all bodybuilders of that era trained that way. And no one even thought a second thought about whether the big 3 were worthy or not. You just took it for granted. That's what they did. And everyone did them. And no one even questioned it. And now you have all these people, these guys coming out of the woodwork saying, well, you know, you'll do the big 3 and then you'll get disappointed, or they won't bring you to where you want to be. I got to a big bench and my chest didn't grow. Well, when you say the big 3, and it depends on the context that you're using the big 3. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Let's take the deadlift. If you do a deadlift, you'll see guys, they'll be doing their deadlifts, and I mean a conventional deadlift, no sumo. Sumo's not a deadlift to me. That's just jacking up a bunch of weight. You're coming up 3 or 4 inches. That to me is not a true pull. Okay. Conventional deadlift, you will see the guys, they'll grab the bar. Okay. They'll pull it on the concentric, and guess what? They just let the eccentric drop. That's not how you do a deadlift. That's not a deadlift for hypertrophy, okay? What I do is I'll pull the concentric, and then I go slowly back down with the eccentric. I come up and I go down just as slow as I came up, okay? I do both concentric and eccentric on the full rep range of that movement. That should be all your 3 lifts. Your squat, the same. Your bench, they should work the same way. You fight it. You make the exercise harder. Okay? That's what these guys, if you take a person that benches 135 and he gets to 225, he's going to have a bigger chest. Oh, and they'll all make excuses. Well, that's particular to him. No, anyone that increases their bench by 75 pounds, doesn't matter who it is, they're going to have a bigger chest. You're going to be bigger because you're stronger. I don't know what's going on out there in the fitness world, but these camps, all these camps have arisen they just like all of a sudden pop up. And I think it's just to make a subject, just to get views and hits, and to get everyone drawn in and talk a bunch of bullshit. You know what those guys are? They're horse shitters, and they're horse shitting you. They're just horse shitting you on a bunch of bullshit. I'll give you an example. Powerlifting, bodybuilding, power building, free calisthenics, weighted calisthenics, resistance, bands. You got all kinds of stuff, all of it. And the main fight is basically among powerlifting, bodybuilding, and weightlifting. You got powerlifting, power bodybuilding, and bodybuilders. Those are the ones that are all kind of clashing, so to speak. Well, here's the deal. Forget about all the BS what the horse shitters are telling you. What we're talking here is resistance. Okay, a force. You're going against a force of resistance. You're moving a bar through time and space. Okay, weight. That's basically what you're doing. You get out of all the semantics on these labels that you're labeling on. What the whole purpose is, if I'm doing 10 reps, with 100 pounds and I get to be able to do 10 reps with 200 pounds, I'm going to be bigger. Granted that every other part of my root program is on par. My diet, my sleep, my rest, and stress levels kept to a bare minimum, and recuperation's kept in check. Those things will work. If you got all those things covered, you will get bigger and you'll get stronger. So I don't know where all these guys have run onto these really strange roads and trying to put in their philosophy. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but a majority of these guys don't even look half-assed that good, really. I mean, I'm 67 years old this month, and you know, I'm not saying I look as good as they do, but you know what? I look pretty damn good for my age. I mean, I can pull some pretty good numbers. I'll give you an example why I love strength. I'll give you an example. I can squat 315 for 5 reps at a body weight of 165, okay? Now my bench is weak. I can do 205 for 5, okay? I'm trying to work up to 225, okay? I'm 5'9.5", I weigh 165, and I'm 67 years old. My deadlift is pretty damn good. I got that baby up there, but a month ago, I'm 405 for, I think, 3 or 4 reps at 405. That took a while, got there, okay? And overhead press, not so good. Another weak point, 145 for 3. So there you have it. For a guy weighing 165 at 67. Now you got young guys, okay, in their 30s, late 20s, 30s, okay, and I'm not really impressed with their numbers. I mean, sure, they're pretty strong. There's one person that is really impressive, okay, out of all these noble natties, so to speak, is, and I don't like to ever mention names. I don't do that, but Alpha Destiny, Alex Leonidas, I believe is his name. Now, he's strong, brutally strong, and he looks really good. Okay, that's one of the guys that I have respect, and I respect him because it seems he knows what he's doing and he's focused on strength, and he gets the fact, he gets it, that strength and hypertrophy are very much related. Bald Omni-Man, same thing, another guy that I respect and I take very seriously what these guys say because they understand the whole principles of strength incorporated into your training. And let's just get it straight out here. You have to train the whole body in a whole, okay? When I say the big 3, they are at the root, the core, okay, of your training, and everything else stems off. When I do barbell curls, I'm doing 5x5s on them. Just to give you an example, I'm treating a barbell curl as a powerlifting move, okay? I'm doing 5x5 with extremely heavy weight. And I try to load it like I would load a squat, okay? The same with lying triceps. I'm loading them up. I want to get strong, okay? I can do 95 pounds for 5 on a barbell curl. I want to get to 100, 115. Once you start getting your numbers up into those ranges, you're going to have bigger arms, okay? So treat the accessories just like you would any other big movement of the compounds. Don't treat them like an afterthought. Put as much emphasis on your arms, your neck, your calves, just like you would on any other movement. That's what I think is the missing key. And then everyone starts downing on the big 3. They're horseshitting you. They all did it. All these guys did the big 3, and some of them did pretty good, okay, and got really strong, like Alex, Bald Omni-Man, and a lot of them, okay. They got brutally strong, okay. And let's face it, okay, you have to understand the concept that they're very intertwined and related to each other. That's why in the early 50s, 60s, 70s, in that period of bodybuilding, John Grimek, have you ever seen John Grimek's physique? He trained 3 days a week. See if that guy didn't do the big lifts. Reg Park, another phenomenal guy out of the era. So you're going to tell me that Reg Park's 5x5 that brought him to the physique and bench pressing 500 pounds, doesn't know what he's talking about, but yet some young kid on YouTube in his 30s or late 20s and 30s is going to know more about programming and getting big and large than those guys, than Reg Park. Then I got a bridge to sell you, because they're horse shitting you. They're horse shitting you all the way to the bank. It just behooves me to see these morons out here talking all this shit and not even knowing what the hell they're talking. And a lot of them are subpar. Okay, they're just subpar. They're just filled up. They take your creatine. You eat a bunch of carbohydrates, drink a bunch of water, and you just start loading up on all that stuff, and you start pumping out, and you're going to get bigger. Okay, you're going to appear bigger, but are you going to be stronger? I want to get stronger. I not only want to get bigger, I love the rush of pushing more weight. That to me is a rush. I can see the numbers. On the big three, you can put it in and you can see your progression as you go. One other thing I want to say this is, who the hell ever said that you got to keep adding 5 pounds to the bar every week? That's another fallacy. It doesn't matter when you add the weight to the bar, but at some point in time, you're going to add some weight, because it's going to be the natural progression of you just lifting. No one is saying that you have to increase the weight on a weekly basis, increase the weight or increase the reps, but it should be in the back of your mind to try to do so when the opportunity is there to push those numbers and come up to a new baseline. I'll give you an example. To get to my 315 squat, I was squatting 5x5 at 275. I gradually just started, just every 2 or 3, 4 months, I'd add 5 pounds, okay? And you would stay at a certain level, 275 for 5, for frickin' 2 or 3 months on end, and then you add when you feel that you need to and you can, and when you can get it. You don't want to fail. You just don't want to add a bunch of weight and then fail the reps. You want to be able to be confident and get the reps. Once you get at that 275 and you just there, and then you can add 10 pounds, you get to 300, that's your new baseline. You stay there. You coach there. Stay there for 2 or 3 another month. It's a slow go, but it's nowhere written that you have to keep adding weight to the bar or reps. Go at the pace that is comfortable and that lets you recuperate. Okay, that's the second thing. Okay, when I say big three, I am talking about in a way of building the whole structure of the body. Everything, the neck clear down to the calves, forearms. I do forearm work. I do forearm work right here. Right here. What are these called? These are the heavy-duty bastards. Captains of Crush, I believe they're called. I got 6 of these. Okay? Every 3 times a week, I go through a whole routine. I work everything. Okay? I'm not dogmatic in any one philosophy. Oh, you got to do this. If you're not doing hypertrophy work, you're not truly a bodybuilder. Or if you're training for strength, then you're not a bodybuilder. It's all bullshit. It's all horse shitters. You are a resistance trainer looking to become stronger and to get larger, to get stronger is the whole key here. Okay? You want to look good, but you want to be strong too. You know, if you're somewhere, you're having a beer somewhere and you're clowning around, you arm wrestle someone, by God, I train you. Boom, you put them down. It's nice to be strong. And I'm going to tell you, being strong is feared. You're feared being strong because when you're stronger And not just stronger, mind you. Let me just say, not just stronger, mind you, but also agile. Okay, coming from a martial arts background, okay, I taught karate for what, a few years. Quite a few years. I was in it all my life. It's good to be agile, to be quick, and to be able to, I do some bag work here and there, not as much as I used to, but you got to keep your body agile, loose, and be able to confront a situation. If it God forbid, if it happens, you're able to defend yourself. Okay. So many of these things are very, very important in the whole big scope of being fit. It's just not looking like a big piece of meat and walking around and having a t-shirt and having it stretched out and people staring at you. I mean, so what? That's what I say big deal. No one really gives a shit. But when someone sees you lifting heavy ass weight, it does matter. Believe me, that's my philosophy. I could be wrong, but that's the way I look at it. Okay. And let's end on this note. Okay. I got a story to tell you, and then we'll end it there. I used to have a Rubicon, a Jeep, 4-wheel drive. I bought it brand new. It was a 2013. Oh, dude, that was nice. So it's a spendy rig. I bought it. It was the unlimited 4-door. Okay. So when I got it, all my buddies at work, I was not retired at the time, I was working in 2013. They all say, you're going to put 35s on it? Tires, you're going to put 35s, get a lift, get the monster lift, they called it. Chrysler does it, blah, blah, blah. And when you look at these Jeeps, man, I'll tell you, they look badass, man. They're lifted, they got the big 35s. So I said to myself, yeah, it looks cool and everything. And I said to myself, do I go rock climbing? No. Do I 4-wheel a lot? No. It looks cool, but I'm not going to do it. So, okay. And then I did investigations. I talked to people that did lift their Jeeps. I talked to people that work at dealerships and lift shops. And, I always get a lot of information before I step my foot somewhere. And what I found out is, here's what I found out. You lift it, you create other problems. When you lift the Jeep up 4 or 5 inches to put 35s, you got to change all the shafts, the drive shafts, the what do you call it? The tie rods that hook up to the front wheels. Everything's got to be changed. The geometry of the vehicle changes. So what I'm trying to say in essence is you're changing the whole structure of that vehicle, and from the way it was created when they built it at the factory. When they built it at the factory, that car was just set up perfect to drive the way it was supposed to. It's smooth. It's not going to present itself with any kind of danger. When you start messing with your body, okay, and trying to make it as large as possible and gain weight and start going into these extremes, when you talk about hypertrophy, loading up on creatine, all this stuff to get bigger and bigger, it may look good, but you're going to alter many other things. You're going to lose your speed, your mobility, okay? And all kinds of things happen. Just like the Jeep, it's never going to drive the way it used to, okay? The same as goes with the body. Once you force it to get bigger, larger, by means that are unnatural, eating more than you actually should eat, taking substances, whether it be anabolics or just supplements over the counter, you're going to change many things that's going to make the body not work as efficiently as if you just train for the sake of training to look better and have a life. You see what I'm saying? So think about that when you start going down this road that hypertrophy is the end-all be-all, because it's not, okay? And I'm not anti-hypertrophy, getting larger. I think it's awesome. You should strive to get bigger as you get stronger, but to a point, okay? 16-inch arms, That's fine. You don't need anything bigger than 16-inch arms. Just like the same scenario with the Jeep. If you're never going to go step on a stage, okay, and you're not going to be a competitive bodybuilder, and you're not going to do it for money, then there's no reason for a guy that works Monday through Friday and has a wife and kids and has a mortgage to go and put himself through all that bullshit just to get those gigantic gains when he's never going to do that. Just like me putting 35s on the Jeep when I'm never going to go up in the mountains and destroy a Jeep, destroy a $40,000 Jeep. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, analogy. So unless they're paying you a hell of a lot of money, okay, and you're going to step on stage, then you have to do certain things that you have to do, okay? You follow what I'm saying? And then one more thing, and I'm out of here. This is rambling on now. The frequency of people's training is way, way too much. 3 days a week is all I do. There's no need for any more. You can get the most incredible gains on 3 days a week, okay? I think this whole frequency thing and being in the gym every day of the week is that's why they don't even look that good. A lot of these guys don't look that great. If you look at Alpha Destiny, Alex's original training templates back in the day, he's training 2 days a week, and I heard him say that he got the best results when he trained 2 days a week. Doesn't that tell you everything? Doesn't that give you a clue onto how he got to where he got? Okay? The same with many other people. Reg Park, same thing, 3 days a week. Okay? Most John Grimek, 3 days a week. All these guys, they got incredibly, brutally strong and big, and they were in good condition on 3 days a week. You don't need any more training frequency, because if you're not on drugs, it's not going to work for you. The guys that are training all 5, 6, 7 days a week are usually assisted, okay? And then I'm going to say the last and final thing, I promise, is if you look at the guys in the 50s, John Grimek, Reg Park, the 60s, Franco, Arnold, Luke, Serge Nubret was an incredible. You ever see Serge Nubret's physique? Incredible. He did a lot of high repetitions. He would do 10 sets of 20 reps on a bench. If that, he did bench. There you go, bench. Those guys in that time era had physiques that would just be incredible. They morphed the physiques of today. With all due respects, the physiques of today are, boy, I'll tell you, to me, they look like chemical factories, okay? I hate to say that, but that's how I see it. The old guys in the day, back in the 50s, they look like this, a V from waist to shoulders, and a V from waist to the legs. It just flared out in both directions, and it looked awesome. They had tiny waist. They would have the vacuums. That's the type of training I strive for. So get off these horse shitters telling you the big three don't work and they're outdated and they're not for hypertrophy. They're horse shitting you, and they're horse shitting you all the way down the horse shit trail. Okay, I'm out of here. Let's go here. We'll see you next time.